And we're live from Innisfree, and we're going to talk Alabama practice. Clint was there today for the little glimpse that they give you, right? The little taste of what's going on. We're going to get into that on the show. We're going to hang out with you here at Innisfree. So if you're in Tuscaloosa, swing by and say hi. I'm going to be here for a little while talking about Alabama football. Today's show is brought to you by Pearl River Resort. How about that? So it's going to be a lot of fun. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. And if for every, let's say this, Clint, for every super chat, I'm going to drink a beer.
You sure you want to do that?
You guys
Am I driving you home?
You got a super chat. I'm staying here. I'm staying. So
oh yeah, you're good then.
I'm here, so I can drink beers now. All right, let's get this thing started. You guys ready? Clint, you ready?
I'm ready, brother.
Hit the open. All right, roll tide. Great to see you, Clint. You're split screen, but you're sitting right next to me right now.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time not like looking right.
Now you got to look straight ahead, like we always do.
Got to stare at the camera. Like it really, even when we're doing this from home, like I'm still like the camera's above me. I'm looking at the screen where you're at.
Right.
So it's good though, man. Practice was good. Never feel like we get to see enough of it, but you do what you can. You take what you can, and this is a team that's moving in the right direction.
Well, no Jake Coker today. And you come here and when they want to know where Jake Coker is, the truth is he's in Mobile.
I thought it would be kind of easy to get him to Tuscaloosa, though. I mean, he's pretty familiar with this place, right? Had some good memories, I would assume.
He was sick. He wasn't feeling good late last week when we had him in studio for the last show.
In recent weeks, so yeah. I get that.
Everybody's kind of feeling it. But look, we're at Innisfree. Show's brought to you by our friends at Pearl River Resort. So, great to have them here today, too, as we talk Bama football. We do it every day on the channel. Clint Lamb, let me ask you this, man. Practice intel ahead of A-Day. And we don't call it the A-Day game anymore because that would be misleading.
Yeah. Actually, let's start with this. I think I put this on the list of topics to cover today. Jeff Allen talking about the A-Day, whatever you want to call it, A-Day practice, I guess. He did mention that, he felt like it was going to be more fun than an A-Day game from a fan's perspective.
Really?
Because I think, maybe you'll get to see like the operation of things and how Alabama actually, conducts its practice. But I think, and don't take this to the bank.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, but I feel like that. I feel like it might be, more than your typical practice where it's like tackling to the ground. You're going to see some one-on-one type of stuff between the offensive line and defensive line. You're going to see guys competing and getting after it in practice. So if we get to see that, I mean, that's something even with the practice observations, we never get to see that sort of thing. So that can be extremely valuable. But today's practice, I mean, there was some good stuff mixed in there, Mick.
Well, look, man, it's football. And now that the national championship of basketball is over, the Final Four is over, it's what we got. And then after that, it's baseball, right? And, so it's that time of year where sports kind of slows down. So it's important to kind of have this little A-Day game. Guys, hit the up. There you go. Okay. There's the first one.
Coming.
There's the first one. So down the hatch we go. And thank you for the super chat, Tider in Florida. And roll tide, man. Roll tide. And the RMFT gear. That's what they sell here at Innisfree as well. But guys, hit the thumbs up. Let's see if we can get this algorithm going. And you tell me what you saw. What did you see out there?
Well, I want to start with Bray Hubbard just because, there was a drill that they were doing where it was kind of goal line tackling, got to be physical, got to come up and hit somebody, but there's like a dummy in the way. And so you don't know which way the running back's going to go. You can't guess because if you guess, it feels like you're always wrong. But you got to read and figure out which way the guy's going who's carrying the football. You got to come up and you got to make a big hit there on the goal line. And we saw Ivan Taylor, the true freshman, at one point, he completely guessed. And as I said, when you guess, you're absolutely wrong. And Kane Womack, I mean, he jumped him pretty good. Apparently he had guessed in another drill before we had gotten out there, and Womack was pretty sick of it. So we gave him an earful. But then you see like Bray Hubbard do it, and both reps that I saw him, first of all, he didn't guess.
Right.
He read. It was quick reaction. great fit as far as like fitting up on the ball carrier, great as far as, you know, the wrap up timing with his arms, a lot of pop, a lot of physicality, and just textbook. And what it kind of, you know, just reminded me of watching that is this is a guy who has all the ability in the world as far as generating turnovers, interceptions, forced fumbles. You're going to get the big play aspect from him, but you're also going to get the consistency as far as like the high tackle rate. He's probably, you know, he probably won't lead the team if I had to predict right now, but I do think he'll probably be one of the top 2 or 3 guys. And I think that combination, I mean, you start talking about a high turnover rate, forcing fumbles, getting interceptions, making big time pass breakups, maybe some sacks on some blitzes, which I fully would expect to be coming under Kane Womack in year 2, and then also a high tackle rate. I mean, that's all-American type potential. And so just watching him, I was very impressed. And you did see that the night and day difference between a true freshman who's still trying to figure things out and a guy who kind of understands all the nuances of practice. So I was really impressed with how he looked. And really, you know, there were several other guys, but Bray Hubbard probably stood out the most as far as those defensive backs.
I love to hear that. Like and subscribe, thumbs up as you hang out with us. And right now, covercrimson.com, that's where we're at when we're not here, right? When we're not at Innisfree. And we're one super chat, one beer down, by the way. I told you guys I would do that.
I thought you would nurse that a little bit.
No, man. I told you, super chats mean beer for the show at Innisfree. But yeah, no, the bottom line is this, $25 off the annual subscription at covercrimson.com. So you guys hit us up there. But AK, good to see you, man. Roll Tide Shane, Brock, Roll Tide Jim. I mean, all you guys from all over the country and even here locally. Bob, good to see you. Bama boy. Here's one for you. What jersey number is Keelon Russell and Austin Mack wearing? I think that's Austin.
Keelon Russell's 12 and Austin Mack's 10. That is what they're asking, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Keelon, he's rocking that. You know, I feel like the number 12 jersey used to be a lot more.
It was something.
You know, when it comes to Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Kind of went a while without having somebody wear that number. Single digit seemed to be the more popular approach for some of these young guys. But Keelon, man, watching him, snappy release, man, just got, I mean, an absolute cannon. But the accuracy from Ty Simpson, the ball placement, because you can only see so much in these types of settings. It's not like we're watching them throw,
right?
You know, in tight coverage, you might have like an assistant coach running with a guy downfield or whatever. But just what I'm looking for in those situations is ball placement consistency. You know, when you're throwing against air, and Ty Simpson, I think I did see one throw where it was a slight underthrow. But, you know, outside of that, I mean, just always putting the ball in a location where the receiver can create yardage after the catch. That's what we've talked about a lot with him, the accuracy, the ball placement, and how big that can be when mixed with the vertical passing game and Kalen DeBoer's offense. I think he definitely looks like a guy who's getting it. Now, granted, Austin Mack had some good throws, you know, relative to, you know, going against air. But Keelon Russell, I mean, just the arm talent is apparent. But Ty Simpson, man, he's definitely got it, no doubt.
Great to see all you guys. Peasy's like, hey, RTR, tell Tripp the real fans love him too. You know, he's talking about Tripp that owns Innisfree. And I said, Tripp, are you going to come hang out with us? We're doing this, and then the Bama Tailgate Show coming up afterwards. It's a double header of Innisfree today. And Tripp said he was running errands. So Saturday, when we're back, we'll get Tripp on. So you guys know we'll be back Saturday after the 8A game, or maybe even during the 8A game. If you get to that point where it's like, I don't even know, you know what I'm saying, Clint? There could come a point where it's like, okay, I've seen enough. Let's go talk about this.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually seeing it. Like I said, I mean, you can get out there and kind of figure out who's running with what. Speaking of which, first team offensive line was, as we had seen, Olasalinen at left tackle. You know, you had Cam Dewberry at left guard. You had Parker Brailsford at center, Jaden Roberts at right guard, and Will Conformby at right tackle. But Gino Vandermark was riding a stationary bike along with Ryan Williams and Cole Adams. You know, we know that Ryan Williams also he's missed both scrimmages, and Kalen DeBoer's kind of said he's probably not going to be doing too much for the rest of spring. It's not, you know, minor. It's nothing serious, but you know, that is something to kind of keep an eye on. But the second team offensive line, Jackson Lloyd at left tackle, Mal Waldrop at left guard, Joe Ionata at center, Will Sanders at right guard, and it was, let's see, who was at right tackle? It was Michael Carroll. So you had 3 true freshmen on the second team offensive line. Was kind of surprised. I did see Casey Poe out there, and he didn't have a black no contact jersey, but he did not participate. I don't even think he was included on the third team offensive line, to be honest.
Right.
So he might be limited or whatever. It didn't show, but Mal Waldrop, he had gotten some work at left tackle earlier this spring. Now he's getting some work at left guard. That feels like a lot more, his speed probably as far as his long-term outlook. We still think he's going to be a center, but Alabama, you got Rob Montgomery, you got Joe Ionata, you got Parker Brailsford.
Do you feel like this group, though, is it's a lot of names, but do you feel like this group, this offensive line group, can be better than what we've seen since 2020?
Yes. And I've mentioned this. I think from a talent standpoint, the problem is like the transfer portal, it's very hard to develop guys and keep them for the long term.
Right.
Like the guys that you have that are kind of getting used to your system, they stick around for a while. Maybe they've been playing alongside some of the other second, third teamers, so that by the time they both get up there, they're both ready to kind of rock and roll. They're used to playing, next to each other and all that. Like, the transfer portal, you got guys who are bailing super quickly, and you'll end up developing offensive linemen for other programs, to be honest. Now, granted, that goes both ways. You can recruit offensive linemen out of the transfer portal, and Alabama's certainly done that. But, it takes a little bit of time after you've transferred in. So, that's something that with the offensive line, it is tough to not only get 5 quality starters, but guys who are gelled and used to playing with one another. Like that's probably going to take a little bit of time. And then also, if you start having injuries mount, that's where you can really find yourself in trouble. And that's what we've been talking about with Alabama's offensive line. Like the hope is that, you can get 5 starters and you can at least get 2 or 3 other guys, maybe another tackle, maybe a guy who's got tackle guard versatility like Olas and Leenan, an interior guy. And then, you can kind of withstand, injuries, whether they be short or long term. But we're just watching the offensive line and stuff. I think the importance of you've got 4 guys, with Wilkin Formby being the 4th, who has at least started a game for Alabama last year and has spent a huge chunk of their time in Tuscaloosa. And like Parker Brailsford may not have the familiarity of some of these other guys at Alabama, but he's played a lot of football. He certainly had time to gel and everything. So I think the offensive line's coming together. I think scheme's going to protect the offensive line. We've talked about that a lot. But in today's, really it's always been, it's centered around the offensive line. We don't probably talk about it enough. It probably should be what we spend at least a little bit of time on with every show. But I think it's coming together, Mick.
Well, we needed to, because I feel like that's an area where we were sure that last year was going to be that year where the offensive line kind of took over, and it just didn't happen. And the year before that, we thought it was going to be the offensive line. But this is the Juice Squad, man. The Juice Squad better be ready.
Well, one of the things that I want to point out about Kalen DeBoer's offense, really, if you watch it at Washington, is, Dylan Johnson, he was their running back, went for 1,000 yards. They really didn't have anybody outside of him, kind of a workhorse type of guy. But he was good at the beginning of that season, but he got better as the season wore on. And I think a huge part of that was how much defenses were giving attention to the passing game. Michael Penix, all those receivers.
Right.
So a lot of times it's like you establish the run to kind of help set up the passing game. And that especially holds true, like if you talk about the early Saban years and just kind of they would assert their dominance with their run game. They would play great defense, and then they would play a passing game off of that. Now, and with like Kalen DeBoer, the way that it's supposed to be set up, it's slinging the football around, it's putting a lot of pressure on opposing defenses that way. And then over the course of a season, you can really start to get your run game going because not as much attention is being given to it. So don't be surprised if at the beginning of next season, maybe the run game doesn't look how we're all talking about it. But, I'm not saying that won't happen. I'm just saying if it does happen that way, I wouldn't give up on it too early, because I do think over the course of next season, they're going to get things figured out with the run game. But the passing game, that is this Ryan Grubb, Kalen DeBoer offense. And so the fact that we think they're going to have a quarterback that can at least get these playmakers the football at the bare minimum. Obviously, we think they can do more than that, but at the bare minimum, do that. And we know that they have a lot of guys or a lot of options in the passing game. I think that's really going to start to set this offense up for success, which should be able to also help the offensive line.
We're going to thank Pearl River Resort for jumping on the channel now, and one of our great sponsors over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. It's where we're at right now, hour and a half. You got the awesome golf course. You play golf, Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, the Azaleas, the Oaks. It's like a championship level golf course, Clint.
You know, I slap golf balls and then I go look for them in the woods.
Okay,
you know that's what I do, but that's fun.
Let me find something that might fit you a little better. How about the Geyser Falls? How about the water park? You look like a water park guy. Have you been on those slides before?
I've not on those, but I mean, it's coming. Yeah, I was back when I was little. Dolly Splash Country that was just becoming a thing. So when I lived in Sevierville, that's something that we did, and then. Obviously, man, anytime you go to a theme park, you got to hit the water rod. So I'm all about that, brother. Maybe not the best golfer or the most into golf. Like I'm going to be watching the Masters this weekend, but yeah, I think I'm more of a.
And you can go over there and bet on the Masters. You can bet on NASCAR. You can bet on baseball. All the stuff that we got to get us through the summer at the Timeout Sports Lounge, which is like a Vegas style sports book, right? And that's over there, Golden Moon and Silver Star. And then I know you as a '90s rap connoisseur. This summer, you got Vanilla Ice and Young MC.
Yeah.
Same stage, baby.
That's pretty cool, man.
All right, let's get back to football, Clint. I see you're getting kind of out of your comfort zone here, but we'll go over there and get you a couple of beers. And look, at Super Chats, I'll drink a beer. We got one. I drink one beer. All right. Thank you, Link. Great show as always. I appreciate that. So. You're excited about Hubbard. You think he's got all American potential.
Yeah, I think this. I mean, I feel like we talk about the secondary every show, but it just getting out there. First of all, they were given some new looks defensively, and what I mean by that is, you know, they kind of asked. I think they referred to it as, can y'all film a little tighter as far as. Do more of the zoomed in stuff. Don't look at the defense as a whole because, you know, people can take that and they can use it. They were working on some things, and I'm just happy they're doing that in front of us. So, yeah. But just looking, I mean, you got Zay Mincy and Bray Hubbard at their safety because Keon Sabb's injured. You do have Dijon Lee. He was working with the first team opposite Xavier Brown on the perimeter. You got Deshaun Jones there at Husky. And just one of the things I noticed, just the length and you know, traditionally, like you talk about South Alabama, Kane Womack, a lot of cover 3. You know, that's kind of that Legion of Boom styler approach where that length really comes into play. But obviously at Alabama, you know, a lot of cover 1, a lot of cover 0, a little bit of a different look. Wouldn't be surprised if they started to branch out a little bit this season. But that length, no matter what, I mean, it comes into play from a matchup standpoint. And when you're talking about Zay Mincy, you're talking about Dijon Lee. Obviously, Bray Hubbard's a guy who's, you know, 6'2". You know, Damani Jackson, when he's back on the field, you know, he's 6'1". Xavier Brown's kind of roughly the same. I think the smallest guy is actually Deshaun Jones there at 6 foot, but just he's got a lot of length too. So really impressive as far as the length in the secondary, and I think that's going to make a significant difference. But also that defensive line today was getting after it, man.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
I like to hear this.
Yeah, I mean, they were I mean, just so many guys that are so impressive. Jeremiah Beeman, just the way that his body has changed is nothing short of incredible. The fact that I wasn't seeing, based off of his high school tape compared to what I'm watching, you know, earlier today, I didn't see much of a difference or fall off as far as like the quickness and agility. So that was pretty surprising to me. I mean, this is a guy who's gained 50 plus pounds in the last calendar year.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, just, you're not seeing much being sacrificed as far as a little bit, but he's carrying it extremely well. I think Alabama really needs like a second nose that can hold up at the point of attack as a 0 or 1 tech, and then can also provide, something as far as, when they got a transitional pass rush. And I think a guy like Jeremiah Beeman, I think he's going to be a big, big part of that. I'm excited to watch him. Stephen Momoa looked a little bit better as far as technique. I mean, obviously it's been close to a month since we've seen those guys. Right. So you would expect growth, but I mean, you can see it with him still working on some things, but the power is there as always. Kelby Collins, who was sporting a knee brace on his left knee. Maybe I just missed it the first time around, or maybe I've missed it in the practice videos or whatever, but I didn't really notice that he had that. But I mean, he's a guy, you can tell he's going to be big enough, strong enough. He's going to be able to play out there on the edge. He's going to be able to play on the interior. They need a fifth interior guy for their rotation. I certainly think he can fill that void.
That's exciting to hear that the secondary is so good. Remember last year we got there, we're looking and we're going, man, this secondary is going to be terrible. And then, they actually didn't do bad at all. Like, not what we expected. I thought that it was a bigger letdown that the offensive line wasn't better compared to what we thought that the cornerbacks were going to do. And they actually played really well. And then you lost your best player to, that he got bought by Ohio State. And I didn't think the safeties did too bad. And you were talking about Hubbard. I mean, of course, the guy he just knows the angles, right? That secondary is pretty exciting.
Well, you lose a guy like Caleb Downs and you replace him with a guy like Keon Sabb, who's obviously, he's not the same player. Caleb Downs is a rare talent at safety, but, that's about as good as you could have hoped for as far as replacement, especially given the time frame in which he was recruited and brought in. But here's the thing, Mick. He goes down with an injury, and now you're expecting, man, that's tough to lose a guy like that because he had been a good player.
Mm-hmm.
I think he needs to play with his hair on fire a little bit more. I think he also comes in as far as run defense. He's a little bit high with his technique. You see some missed tackles, some whiff tackles as a result. Got to come up with a little bit more authority. He certainly got the physicality, but I just would like to see him play with a little bit better of a pad level. But, seeing him go out, you would expect there to be a drop off. And then you bring in a guy like Bray Hubbard, and it's like, was there really any drop off? And, while I love Malachi Moore, I think he was the heart and soul of the defense. I think he absolutely loved the University of Alabama. Like, you always have to give him credit.
Yeah.
I actually think the safety tandem of Bray Hubbard and Keon Sabb could end up actually being a little bit better than what they had this past season. And not only that, it with Zay Mincy, man. I mean, I think this guy could start right now. I mean, when you watch him out there, he doesn't look out of place. Looked pretty good in the bowl game. Would have fully expect him to be more comfortable in his transition to safety. Loads of talent. It's like for a lot of programs, this guy would be starting right now. And who knows? I mean, maybe they end up figuring out a way to get him on the field as far as a starting job. But even if he doesn't, you're going to see him rotate in. But there's not going to be much, if any, drop off. And I think that's big, man. I mean, I think just across the board, they got at least 3 safeties, potentially more, who can play high caliber football. But to me, I like Keon Sabb, but I just think Bray Hubbard and the way that he plays, the completeness to his game, I think he's going to be one of the best safeties in college football, no doubt about it.
Brought to you by MyBookie.ag, 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip when using the code Crimson, MyBookie.ag. Take advantage of that, guys. I had Florida win. I did like 5 brackets. I had Houston and Florida playing on one of them, but Houston winning, and then I had it the other way and Florida winning. So I ended up in the 98 percentile. I should have put my money where my bracket was.
No, I don't. You know what, Mick?
What a game, too, man.
I don't like you very much right now because I don't like people who do.
You don't do like multiple brackets?
No, because then everybody's like, oh, man, I got this one bracket. That it was like, yeah, if I could fill out 50 of them, I'm sure I'd have one to hit, too. I say that as somebody who did not have a great bracket. But, my brother always does that. He always brag me like, I got this one bracket that's 97%. I'll be like, you got this one bracket. I mean, how many brackets you got? He's like, I think I filled out 12. I'm like, I don't count. I mean,
can't get enough brackets.
I'll give you 2. I'm a one guy, but if you want to go 2, I get it. But
I had the Bama winning championship bracket.
I did have the Bama winning. Now, granted, part of that was that I was kind of rushing, and then my wife, she texted me, and she was in the same group as far as the, filling out brackets. She's like, "Hey, can you fill mine out for me?" Because A, she was at work, and B, she had no idea what she was doing. I didn't either. She didn't know that, but I acted confident. But it was like right before the first game started, like an hour before. And so by the time I was done with hers, I didn't have time to go back to mine. So I don't know if I would have actually had Alabama winning the national championship. I kind of done it quickly. But, after it happened, I'm like, you know what? Let's ride this thing.
Yeah.
And the Elite Eight's not bad, but it's certainly not national championship.
Yeah. As you guys hang out, remember, we're always on covercrimson.com as well. And $25 off the annual subscription. Hang out there, get on the message board. All right, freshmen. The freshmen, you're hearing a lot about the freshmen. It's a great recruiting class. Now those guys are on the field, right? Big Mike, I see. Brooks, obviously Hill. I mean, you keep talking about like these guys, and their names keep popping up.
I mean, I guess we'll start with Brooks. I just think few guys, he carries this quiet confidence, and you watch him running routes, and the number is going to get a lot of people because it is the same as Jalen Waddle, but just the way he runs routes and stuff, it is very, very similar. He's, a little bit different size. But just you can tell he's got a very high ceiling, and I still think he's figuring some things out. But this is a guy who I really think is going to help Alabama in 2025. Was very impressed with him, the hands, the acrobatic catches. He kind of does it all. But Michael Carroll was seeing a lot of work at right tackle, as I mentioned earlier, with the second team, and to me, when we first saw that practice, a month ago, he was just getting his feet wet. Obviously, I think that Ryan Grubb was asked about him, and he's like, he's got a long way to go. That was like his immediate response. Well, based off of what I saw today versus what I saw a month ago, I think he has come a long way.
Oh, nice.
He looked a lot more confident. Technique was a lot more there. And maybe it was the fact that before, I think at that time I was watching him play left guard, and maybe him playing tackle, he's just more comfortable there, even though I wouldn't expect that to be the case. But he looked pretty good. I think he could potentially help Alabama. I think the fact that he can play multiple positions certainly helps, but I don't know how much of that you're going to ask of him in year one. But I was impressed with Michael Carroll, and then just Justin Hill. It was funny because they were doing these drop drills as far as dropping into coverage, and kind of you would have to slide to one dummy and then slide to the other, and then you'd have to break off and then break on the ball and catch it. And watching Jamarian Latham do that, and then immediately following watching Justin Hill do it, it was like night and day difference. Like, that is not Jamarian Latham's game.
Right.
Now, granted, what I will say about him is that there is zero wasted movement, very technically sound. And so while he might not be as fluid or as explosive maybe as some of the other guys, probably because he's a lot heavier, I think that he kind of compensates for a lot of that with his ability to play with sound technique. And you just see him going through those drills, and you watch other guys, and it's like you're wasting a lot of movement. You're doing a lot of moving that you really don't have to do, and he doesn't do that. And so that's a veteran, thing for him. But going back to Justin Hill, man, just looks fluid no matter what you're asking him to do, whether it be the bag drills, whether it be dropping into coverage. Like, I do think that, I don't know. Jan Zapier was kind of running second behind Quay Russaw.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Noah Carter running third. And then you had Jamarian Latham. And then you had Justin Hill. I don't know if that really matters, but, Jan Zapier is a guy. We forget that he had the knee injury last year, and that really kind of slowed him down. He's still wearing that knee brace. And I do think that he had some sort of minor off-season surgery. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. But I still think he's getting back. But, he looked pretty good as well. Don't want to forget about him, but I do think, at least to some degree, Justin Hill is going to be able to be a part of this defense. He's going to be able to have some sort of role. All
right, wrapping it up now, Jeff Allen on the 8A setup. Give us the breakdown. And remember, we're coming back here to Innisfree. We're going to be back here. And you guys, if you come to the 8A game and you're like, where we're going to hang out, come hang out with us at Innisfree. If you got your kids up until 6 o'clock, you can have kids in here. You can be under 21. So, you can come sit. We're going to be in this front area. We'll have the show on. You can listen. We're supposed to have it on right now. I don't know why it's not on, but it'll be on Saturday. Partly because I typed in the address to the Birmingham Innisfree and then realized that it was the Birmingham Innisfree.
Yeah, that was quite the phone call. Yeah. When you're like, what? I had typed in the wrong address. I'm actually an hour away. And I'm like, all right, let's see how long it takes. I don't drive. Pretty good though.
I don't drive from Huntsville here often. Never.
Well, and I told you when you said, I'm in Huntsville, it says I'm an hour and a half away. I was like, man, I live in Athens and driven to Tuscaloosa a time or two, and I can't remember a time where it told me I was going to get there. I might have gotten there close to an hour and a half, but it certainly didn't tell me that. So I was wondering what was up with that. Didn't think to press you on it, but you know what? You got here in pretty timely fashion. I thought 12:20 wouldn't.
I made it. And we appreciate that. Our friends at Pearl River Resort. I see Matt's here. Matt's going to be on the tailgate show coming up. We're like a double header of shows.
He's wearing the Southern Miss jersey. I love
it. It's fine, but he's got the Bama tailgate hat on. So
hey, I like the jersey more than I do the hat, and I love the hat.
Yeah, so we're actually going to stick around and do some more. We're going to be here for a minute, but we want you guys to like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up on the show. Give us the setup of the 8A game before we get off of this one. Just give it to. Are we having a real game, Clint?
No. But I do think, what I'm hoping to do is to take what they are giving us and relay it in a way where fans can have the kind of takeaways that they would from a game. you know, if we're getting a lot of one-on-one reps and stuff, it's like, okay, I mean, I really want to see guys like Edric Hill in those situations. I want to see what some of these guys, as far as, you know, like, you know, like a Cam Dewberry. It's like, I feel like he's more of a run blocker.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me.
A little bit that way. But yeah, dude, I knew that as soon as I turned my chair a little bit,
because you're going to make me look at you. I got to look ahead.
But I can't wait. I hope that's now. Granted, I'm saying that, and people might start running with it, and then we get to Saturday, and you don't see any one-on-one drills. But just hearing Jeff Allen or seeing what he said, kind of just made me think that's kind of coming. Like, we're going to see a little bit of physicality. It's going to be the guys getting after it. If they're getting after it, I think we'll be able to take some of that and translate it for fans. But I know that fans are disappointed.
No, they are. Well, Ole Miss has Joey Chestnut. The guy eats a bunch of hot dogs. Like, if you're going to not play football, let's watch a guy eat hot dogs.
Yeah, I feel like it could be so much worse. You're right. Perspective.
Yeah. All right. What do you got going on? CoverCrimson.com.
Yeah. So I put all of my practice observations over there. I'd say all of them. You know, a bunch of
breaking
them.
It down.
I'm gonna, you know, continue to add to that because I mean, I'm taking notes. I'm taking videos. I go back through the videos. I go through everybody else's videos, and so I'll be continuing to add to that. But I want to say I got 7 or 8 observations up over there. And I don't just say things, you know, here's what the starting offensive line look like. Here's the second team. I kind of elaborate on stuff a little bit and kind of add, you know, some context and what it means. And so we've got that. We've got some other stuff coming later this week. I don't want to say what it is just yet. But we're going to do something fun as far as for the A-Day game. So be on the lookout for that.
Come see us here at Innisfree, because we're going to be here right here. Whether you watch the show or you come and hang out with us live, we're going to be here Saturday again. So see you guys here. Thanks to Pearl River Resort. Again, Matt being here and hanging out with us, you know, hour and a half from Tuscaloosa. You got the sports book, which I just got back from Vegas. It's honestly better than a lot of the ones in Vegas. I mean, I'm being serious. Like, you don't have to pay $800 for your seat. And just take it from me. I'm just trying to sit down. $800. And you got to reserve it 3 months out. Not at Pearl River. You just go sit down, watch the game. 20 awesome big screen TVs with all the games. This time of year, now that basketball's over, you got NBA, you got, you know, obviously NHL. You can bet NASCAR, you can bet golf,
Major League Baseball,
yeah, MLB, and then all the stuff going on around the world. They have that all. It's an hour and a half from here, 2 and change from Birmingham. But you're gonna love it, man. It's great. We appreciate them now jumping on and being part of what we do here at Cover Crimson. The golf course is awesome too, and you guys know this. I heard, you know, I was talking to Reed. He's like, "Hey, our poker club needs to go there." I'm like, "Come on, bring them on, man! Bring the poker club on. Bring them. Everybody's invited." So, Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi, and we appreciate them. Again, Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, the Azaleas, the Oaks. It's awesome. Philip M. Steakhouse. I can sit here and talk about this all day. But listen, thank you guys. And from the bottom of my heart, from Innisfree,